everyone, welcome back to my channel, Lenox Justifier of Innocence, created by Zeus and Demeter to save humanity. I am here as the character Josephine, which is Lenox in human form, and this is Mr. Buddy, he is the guard dog. Before we get started in today's episode, I just wanted to thank you all who are following along religiously and hope that you are all having an amazing week. For those of you who are new to this channel, this is a fantasy justice channel where superheroes and mythological gods unite in the fight to save humanity and restore the balance of good and evil. It is designed to allow you to listen like an audiobook or watch, seeing the images, artwork, and dramatizations that make the story come to life like a live picture book. It allows you to escape in fantasy justice adventures. Before we start, I do just want to do a quick reminder that although these stories are loosely based on real world occurrences, all of the characters are fictional, the missions are carried out in fantasy and imagination, and the names and places have been changed to protect the identities of any such victims or perpetrators involved. Some of the topics, if not all, are sensitive in nature, so I did want to forewarn you on that. Now in today's story, it is part 4 of the mini-series titled The Predators. We are going after the consumers. Now you'll want to make sure that you'll stay to the end so that you hear what's coming up next in the series. We'll see you at the end. Enjoy the show. Josephine, Olgard, and Amalia head to see Jaru. Now that he has been transferred to a new prison, he can divulge information freely without the fear of being heard or eliminated. If there's any moles in this new location, it will be easy to flush them out. When they arrived at the new site, they noticed there are no cameras or electric equipment anywhere. Cell phones must be left in the vehicles. The prison is bare bones. Zero technology exists. The only electronic thing that they have is an old box TV that has been scrubbed for possible bugs. Jaru was waiting for them.
Josephine, Amalia, it's good to see you. Mr. Buddy, you sir, oh God. Now that I'm in this location, I feel better, like I can talk without the walls listening. If you can get Noxie and Maxine to cooperate, I suggest you find a more secure location for them as well. Though I can tell you firsthand, I have my doubts they will be of any help. Those two women are pure evil. They were never victims of anything and grew up in privilege. They solely got into the business for profit and power. In fact, if they do agree to cooperate, I would not trust any information they give you. They would give false leads to throw you off. My sources, they tell me they are still highly involved in operating from the inside of the prison.
I'm not surprised. I will have Amalia bug their cells, their phone calls, and any other form of communication they may have. If they are still running their operation from the inside and won't give us intel, we will take the intel we need.
They are highly involved in several groups at the border with wire transportation. They also using the cruise line to smuggle people in. They use the entire East Coast line, but primarily focus in Florida and Texas, since those are the two closest points and tourism is so big. They recruit women and children from all over the world. They fly or they boat them in through and then take them through Mexico through the border. How they go about getting their supply varies. Some are taken in broad daylight. They look for those that have strayed away from their families and their friends, those who appeared lost or unaware of their surroundings, whose parents are not paying attention, kids walking home from school or at the malls unattended. Some are even taken right in front of their parents by promising them fortune, casting calls, modeling. They use the social media to recruit. You have several types: those who recruit for volume and profit, and those who are hunting for their own personal sadistic
Well, we want to focus
pleasures
on the
and
larger
wants.
operations, but most importantly, we want to get to the consumers. Without them, the demand will go down. Otherwise, it will be an endless vicious cycle. We take one down and 3 more operations will pop up if we don't go to the source. Diminishing that consumer will be the greatest impact.
When I was running my operation that you and your Amazon friend they contracted, I mostly dealt with brokers. As big as my operation was, the rare to deal with the actual consumer. They typically use middleman, a broker, to do their dealings. And these brokers were careful not to reveal the identities of the consumer or any information that could lead to them.
It sounds like a complex marketplace where humans are the commodity.
Precisely, ladies. I have a general idea of the groups, but not exact names of the consumers.
Okay. So first and foremost, we have to create awareness of all the dangers on a global scale. People must be educated on the matter so that they can take the necessary precautions to safeguard themselves and their children. Secondly, I believe that in order to really make an impact, we have to address legislation worldwide. But we need to start here in the States. The biggest factors behind these types of predators is economic status, sexual deviance, and lust for power. We know that we are one of the wealthiest nations, and therefore our consumers create the most demand for this industry. We're going to have to set stricter laws with more severe punishments for these buyers. We're going to have to lobby to set up a dedicated task force that solely deals with changing the legislation for this matter.
What sort of punishment are you thinking? You Amazon friend, she packs quite a punch. I certainly would not want to live through that punishment again. I'm still in pain from it.
Well, that's good to know. I'm happy that her powers have lasting effect to keep you from going back to that criminal lifestyle. But we need something preventative, not reactive. It's obvious you're not pure evil though, since in your actions, and that gives us hope. Unlike Nancy and Maxine.
What type of laws are you proposing?
Well, for starters, I would like to see an additional level of prison added, since we now have minimum, medium, and maximum security, but we need one that is specific for housing serial killers and consumers, the brokers and suppliers of humans, as well as any other people involved in those cults that are having children solely so that they can mistreat them. It is my belief that once somebody is found guilty of these crimes beyond a reasonable doubt, they should immediately be stripped of their rights as an American. I also believe that the prisons should be stripped of most modern conveniences. There should be no gyms, no TVs, no music, no AC. It should be single rooms, and they should have absolutely no interactions with any other inmates except when absolutely necessary, like when they're doing their assigned tasks under the supervision of the guards. They should have no writing utensils, absolutely nothing that would provide any level of comfort or release for them. They should only be given the minimum necessary for survival in the means of food and water. No extras of any kind. They should not be comfortable when they didn't care about making their victims feel comfortable. When they are not performing tasks that have been assigned, they should be confined to their pods. The punishment needs to be so severe that if somebody even thinks of doing something horrible, they'll think twice and maybe not do it, and maybe not dare exploit other humans in such manner. We will also have to see changes done to how evidence is collected. We will also have to see changes done to how evidence is obtained. For example, if somebody is caught on camera committing a crime, and there is zero doubt that that person is the one that did it, you can clearly see them, then it should not matter how that evidence was collected, if the evidence exists and can be authenticated. I agree. They shouldn't waste resources on the trial either. If it's indisputable evidence of guilt, the process should be streamlined for those cases. There's too much room for error, too much unnecessary red tape, and wasted resources.
I'm glad you caught me when you did. The consumers are typically those with more disposable income, those who thirst for power, gluttonous types. You have Hollywood executives, philanthropists, religious cult leaders, higher education, lawyers, doctors, CEOs, music and modeling executives, high-tech executives, law enforcement. Look at the industries that cater to children. You must look at and understand it as a market system.
Understood. We'll research that. But we truly believe that if we get the consumers and cut down on future consumers, we will have the greatest impact. That needs to be one of our main focuses. I mean, think of it like this. It's like when someone is diagnosed with a disease, when you go to a regular doctor, they're going to prescribe medicine to alleviate the symptoms. That medicine not only doesn't fix the problem or the root cause of the disease, but it creates other ailments, and then they prescribe more medication for that, so on and so on. It's a never-ending vicious cycle. But a holistic doctor will work on understanding that root cause and on destroying the source of that disease. The process might take longer, but the end goal is to be disease-free. Now, if you can combine both of those methods, the results will come even faster. It'll be more impactful and sustainable. And that is our goal here. Attack the source while treating the symptoms. The source being the consumer, while the dealers, brokers, victims, and all of those in between are the symptoms. If we get to the source, we eliminate the problem. We must end the demand. So that is going to conclude today's episode. I hope that you are enjoying everything thus far. Now, next week we're going to be continuing on with this story. I am currently working on a story for a patron's request, so that might be the next video coming up if it is completed. I have a little bit more research to do, so if that's completed, I'm going to be doing a patron's request, which follows along in what we are discussing in this series titled The Predators. So you want to make sure you stay tuned for that. It's either going to be the patron's request or the continuation of the storyline. The other thing I wanted to say is I am so glad that recently, in the last couple of weeks, they've actually have been talking about this topic a lot in more mainstream fashion. Now, if any of you haven't seen that movie, Sound of Freedom, I haven't seen it yet. I am going this weekend to see it. But if any of you haven't seen it, go see it. Everyone tells me that it is absolutely amazing, very heartfelt and extremely informative, and it goes along with this subject line. So go get your family, and go on a date night and go watch that movie. It is going to be tear-jerking. I was told it can, trigger some sensitivity, but that it is worth it. Go watch it. I am not a promoter for it in any way, but I do believe in educating people in what's really happening out in the world in order for us to be able to make a difference together. So go watch that. I'm going to go watch it. I will let you know what my thoughts are on it. Hoping it's as good as everybody's saying it is, which I'm sure that it is. There's some amazing actors in it, and it's a very heartfelt topic that I think we all need to be discussing a little bit more and making awareness so that we can keep everyone safe. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed everything. I will see you on Friday or Saturday of this week. It's either going to be a continuation of The Predators or a patron's request. So I will see you this weekend. Until then, as always, please take care of yourselves and God bless.